I'll call the county government meeting to order. First person to report is Human Resources. Michael Reardon.
Good evening. Welcome. Oh, the boring stuff. Okay, so standard work day. This was standard work day, right? You have to establish standard work days.
Yep.
For elected officials.
I will move it.
Thank you. Second. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Number two, so I come every year with these as well. This is in reference to, oh, this is the second one?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Copied it for
Okay.
you, sorry.
Did I move both of the standard work days?
It's just one.
Okay.
I copied two in there,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Thank you. So every year, we get our insurance plan information from, Emblem as well as Delta. Delta's our dental plan for management. Emblem is our vision for all, and our Delta, oh my God, excuse me, I'm sorry, I can't talk. Our insurance, dental insurance for our sheriff's benevolent. So in order to sign the contracts when they come, we need to have a resolution in advance authorizing that, the chairman.
Move it.
Second, thank you.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Same concept for our Medicare Advantage. Traditionally, we would come and we would have, prior years, we had a number of Medicare Advantage plans. Effective 2 months ago, there was an board approval to transition to one Medicare Advantage plan, which will be going into effect on September 1st of this year. And that is going to be through Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. So this would be the same thing for us to be signing for 2025.
And the insurance committee reviewed it, approved it, so
I'll move it.
Second.
all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
That's it. That's all you have. All right, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tourism, yeah?
Hello. Yeah, sure. I'm Annie.
Yeah.
Sure. That's a long time no see. Hi, guys.
Okay, I got Adams.
Oh, yes, okay, the conference, Adam is attending a travel show, it is in Springfield, Massachusetts, because it is out of the state, I need to bring this to your attention.
Move it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Yeah, we had set up a rule that if it's out of state, they have to come to committee. That's,
Even though it's only an hour away. You know,
It's at the MGM.
Right. Good check and balance though.
And this is I'm here every year with this, designating the tourism department as the official PPA for the I Love New York program.
I'll move it.
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And the last one is, again, what we bring here, every year, and that is working with, marketing services, individuals and businesses. And that's what it is.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
I'm done. Thank you, guys.
Next on the agenda is Supervisor Chimides had proposed a resolution last month, and we asked for a little more time to review. So would you like to maybe recap?
Yeah, thanks. So as we talked about last month, there's a proposal in the House of Representatives that would remove local.
Are we locked? No.
Locked in.
We tried.
Sorry about that. So there's a proposal in the House of Representatives that would make it illegal to take away home rule law for state and local governments to regulate farms and farm products. So it would make it illegal to take away a bunch of laws that would prevent animal cruelty, as well as rules around preventing invasive species and diseases and things like that. It's potentially going to be lumped into the Farm Bill. And so there's some advantages of sort of moving as a county. We have one of the few reps who sits on the agricultural committee who also represents like a place that has smaller agriculture. So it certainly it's sort of like smaller farms have the most to lose from these kinds of rules, because if the rules are being set by the country, they're going to be set by sort of like the biggest, most powerful farm lobby of the biggest farms. So they're most likely to hurt farms like ours. Groups like National Association of Counties, the Humane Society, and ASPCA have come out against the EATS Act. So I wanted to bring it to our county as an important opportunity for us to get ahead of it before it gets bumped into the Farm Bill, to sort of encourage our rep to not advance the EATS Act or something like it, and sort of establish local and state abilities to create farm bills.
So I think, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead. Brenda.
I think I mentioned that the right to farm law is a really important tool in our toolbox for facilitating conversations between second homers and farmers or people who use the land for agricultural purposes. So I really would hate to see it either removed or diminished in some way, that it was a less effective tool. So if we, as a county, were to pass this, I would feel very comfortable in advocating with our congressperson about this. But I think it'd be useful to have this tool for an advocacy purpose.
The one in favor of the bill,
Mhm.
the one issue was that it would promote interstate trade, but that's the only thing really I could find that was positive about it. Anybody have any other comments?
I'd rather have home rule than federal rule.
Okay. So
So I'll make a motion to move this forward.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention, because I never would have thought that.
Made me do a lot of research. but couldn't find anything. That was really beneficial.
Well, thanks for the discussion. Appreciate the support.
Fair housing. Mr. Fisher.
Well, I apologize for not having detail on my agenda, but I thought I'd just speak about it. I understand that the budget has been deferred to a later date, so I have no comments on that at this point. But with regards to calls received, actually, they're the usual calls: eviction notices, non-return of security deposits, notices to cure lease violations, the roommate law, which, I get a lot of questions on that, whether people are legally staying in an apartment as a sibling or a relative, that type of thing. So I try to clarify those kind of things. It's tough to to make a distinction between whether a person is a guest or whether they're actually a tenant in the house. So that always is a question. But with regard to evictions, I try to prepare the tenant for what might happen in court, and also to advise them very strongly to, if they get a notice to appear in court, to go to court, because if they don't appear, that could result in an automatic judgment in favor of the landlord to take possession of the property. And with regards to notices to cure, I tell people, you gotta go back to the landlord and tell them, that you beg them that they're not ever going to do these things again, so that, because if they don't respond in 10 days, there could be a 30-day notice for them to be evicted. I've had a couple of those kind of situations. So those are the kind of calls. The warranty of habitability, of course, is always something that, people call about, the landlord's obligation to provide safe, sanitary, and livable conditions, those kind of things. And of course, rent increases seem to be a problem as well. And, you know, we can't let these rent increases, result in, evictions, particularly with seniors who have no place to go and so forth. But, the judges, they do have some leeway or leniency to give some additional time. Also, if a tenant feels that they are being, wrongfully evicted, they can file a notice to show cause as to why they feel that so, and judges do have it within their realm of responsibility or operation to give them more time and so forth. In other words, just tell, if you can't find a place that's affordable or meets your particular needs, you got to tell the judge those kind of things. So, quiet enjoyment is another thing, sometimes you get these calls with regard to right to privacy, which comes under that quiet enjoyment. And of course, noise after certain hours. So those are the kind of things that I do get calls on. So that basically, explain security deposits. There are strict laws on how to, on when and how you should return security deposits. And if you're going to withhold any money back, you have to provide, estimates, more than estimates, receipts as to why you're holding the money back if there are repairs and things to be made. Other than that, I think that gives you a pretty good update. And we will be meeting again with our Housing Advisory Board on September the 10th. So we're starting to meet again, and of course we'll get a head start on our school poster contest, and also start talking already about our landlord tenants rights forum. So I have one member of the Housing Advisory Board who has accepted a position with the county. I don't see where that'd make any difference, because we did have county representation from the Office for the Aging at one time. So I didn't feel that was going to be any problem. So that's about it.
Any questions for Mr. Fisher?
Just one, with the sunset on various moratoriums, are you seeing any more of an increase in evictions, or are things about the same?
Oh, as far as the evictions are concerned, I think things are about the same. Of course, when you got a non-payment of rent, things move along much more quickly than if there's a sale of the property and the new owner just wants you out. But non-payment of rent, it's a 14-day demand for payment, and then you can immediately start petitioning the court for. And like I say, it's so important that, and I tell everybody who's about to be evicted that they go to the hearing. That's important. You don't want an automatic judgment of repossession in favor of the landlord. So that's very important. And throw yourself on the
Mercy of the court.
mercy of the court. That's about it. And you get people. I'll tell you what I get too is people who have children with special needs and things like that. And it's important that the judge know these things. And if they're going to a particular school, that they're not going to be have to relocate an area which be almost impossible for their son or daughter to go to that school. So, but I think evictions are holding pretty steady, and it's mostly termination of tenancy where there's a sale of the property or non-payment of rent. So.
Ones where, like you were saying at the beginning, you have somebody living with you, as an accommodation.
That's the room, that's commonly referred to as the roommate law. Yeah.
Okay, and what do they do with that? Like, is that like you can get rid of somebody?
Well,
Easy enough, or-
the law is pretty specific. If you are the only one on the lease, you are able to have your children and relatives living with you and one other adult who's not on the lease. But if there's two people on the lease, and you're gonna replace that person with adult, one of those two people on the lease has to get off the lease, so.
I mean, in court, we get a lot of people calling saying, oh, this person's been staying with me, for 6 months or whatever.
Well,
And
this
now I
is,
want to get rid of them.
it's very difficult to
Yeah.
distinguish, as I said before, between a guest in the house and
Right.
what they consider a tenant. I got a call today and a person was living with, it was a mother. Well, the grandmother was on the lease. She was the only one on the lease. Living with her was her daughter and her granddaughter. So you have a situation where I think that is not a violation of law. But then the grandmother died. So
So
here you get a
everybody-
legal problem
Right.
because the estate is going to be responsible for the lease. And if the estate doesn't pay the lease, then the
Daughter and granddaughter.
Have no place to go.
the mother and the granddaughter could be evicted. And I think they'd have to go through the court process because they've been there more than 30 days.
Right.
So they can be considered a tenant, so.
Interesting.
So,
Well, the thing we used to see, and I don't know if we still do, is that somebody would pay someone rent, but they weren't.
For a
on the
room.
lease.
Right,
Right.
right. They rented a room and,
yeah,
So
and,
they could prove, they had physical proof that they'd been contributing to the rent.
right, and they could even contribute by doing the housekeeping,
Mhm.
that type of thing. Oh, well, I wasn't helping with the rent, but I
Mowed the
did all the
lawn, right.
housekeeping and did the grocery shopping. So, it's a tough rule, and of course, beyond my bailiwick, they better
Yeah.
get an attorney.
yeah. That's what we usually tell the people, call an attorney.
The trouble is, they can't afford it.
Right.
The people that are calling you can't afford an
Right.
attorney. And legal aid is at the point where they'll give advice over the phone, but they don't represent anybody in court. And, so legal aid is tough. I refer a lot of people to the office for the agent.
What about arbitration or mediation? Can things like that be mediated, or do they have to go through the court?
Well, there's a very good group out there that the court likes them to go through, which is called Common Ground Dispute
Yes,
Resolution.
I've used that.
And they are a very, very good group, and they will do their best to try to get the people together to try to negotiate things. The only trouble is it's voluntary on both parts. So if one party doesn't volunteer to go forward, it doesn't work. So
But if you're about to lose your home, wouldn't you try anything
Anything.
to
yeah.
stay in your home?
that's it, it's, if, the landlord says, well, I don't want to negotiate, and the tenant wants them to negotiate,
Right.
doesn't work. So,
Anything else?
okay, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Mr. Fisher.
Have a good evening.
And you as well.
So the last item on the agenda is civil service. Kathy Hogenkamp, who was on the Civil Service Commission and was the chair of the Civil Service Commission, has resigned because she's moved to Florida permanently, effective the 30th of June, I believe. And we have a person, I actually called a former Civil Service Commission chairman to find out, just to talk to him about it. And he recommended the individual that we're proposing. In the resolution, we're proposing Tom Fisher. to be appointed to the civil service as a civil service commissioner for a remaining 6-year term, which would end May 31st, 2026. So basically it'd be a 2-year or 2.5-year term. And shall be vested with all the powers, duties, and responsibilities of the commission. I did talk to Brenda earlier today, and I mean, I think he's more than qualified based on his
You see
resume.
the resume?
And I apologize for that, but
He was in the Board of Elections.
he was many,
That's
many years
not-
ago. And then he went to work for New York State, but he's got a significant administrative background and as well as a military background. And
This is actually less than 2 years, because we're in, what, August of 24.
so,
And he's
So-
expressed an interest in doing it.
yes,
And he has the
he would
time
like
to
to
do
do it. He's retired. But actually, it's perfect for a retired individual because the daytime meetings and, you know, the availability. The problem, and it's not a problem, but the issue being now that there's only 2 commissioners, there could be deadlocks. So I'd just like to recommend, Mr. Fisher, and actually just that, you know, and
And that's his son
that's, I was just gonna say, and
revealing the.
I don't
Full
even know,
disclosure.
I don't even know if Mr. Fisher knew that his son applied. But actually, I feel a little bit more comfortable talking about it with him not here. But it's, you know, I think he'd be a very good candidate, and if you want, I can get you copies of the resume. I apologize for that, but Brenda, being Brenda,
Dug it out.
so I would,
The son's retired and the old man still works.
yeah, pretty much.
I think that's my future, you know.
Well, everybody, trust me, I retired too, and I'm working, so it seems to work that way.
Any other way
Oh, I didn't realize this is your retirement gig too. This is my retirement gig. so.
I was retired for a whole year, and my wife looked at me and said, "You got to do something."
Yeah, so,
And then she replaced the carpet.
So now
when
I'm
you walked
with
away.
my work wife, Kelly.
yeah. Darlene and I pushing back and forth. You take it, no, you take it.
Right, so I would entertain a motion.
I think he has the work experience, and if he has the interest to do this, I would make a motion that we,
Okay, thank you.
be considered
Second.
for this position.
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor?
I-
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
The, Bill's budget, when are we gonna get the smaller department budgets?
Yeah, I emailed them out
Oh,
Monday for everyone to
somehow I
review.
missed that. I apologize.
Yeah. I can pull it up if you want.
No, I don't. I just,
Okay.
now I know to look at it.
We felt it would be easier or better to do just the heavier, the bit larger budgets, and then, because we don't spend a lot of time on the smaller budget.
Right, I appreciate that, but I saw that email, but I didn't realize that you'd sent Bill's budget, so,
It's all in,
In
so I
another
sent all the county government budgets all together,
okay,
so you can flip through them.
okay.
But everybody,
Mine didn't come back, did it?
everybody,
Whatever,
no,
because of the size of the
no,
file.
yeah, because of the
Okay.
size of the file, no,
Okay,
everybody's
I'll
came
look for
back.
it then. Okay.
Everybody's budget pretty much stayed,
Is it,
yeah.
is that,
So, Mr. Chairman, is there a fee associated with that task, the commissioner?
It's 13.
Well, the chair gets 13,
Oh,
the other 2 gets, I think it's 7,000.
and I was wondering,
I'm just rounding, could be a little bit more.
and do they select their own chairperson so that?
Yeah, they vote on the chairperson.
Okay.
And, you know, typically right now, it's Kathy Nabozny
And Elena Mosley.
and Elena Mosley are the 2, and it was Kathy Hogenkamp. So they'll decide amongst themselves who becomes the chair. And that's what the state law says. That's what happened.
Well, and we have a lot before civil service going on now, so I think it's important to have a full,
Well, and I would, like you and I discussed earlier today, their responsibility isn't just Columbia County, it's the city of Hudson, all the towns and villages, all the school districts. So there's a lot to be done.
yeah, they're, for their 2 civil service commissioners, they're 14,046.
Together.
Divided by
Divided by-
2 would be 7,023. And the administrator, let's see, the commissioner is 14,708, the head commissioner.
And they would get whatever raise the employees get. So
Do they get like healthcare or pension or?
They
things like
get, they
that?
do get health insurance. I don't believe, Elena may get it, but I'm not sure. I know Kathy didn't need it, and I don't believe the Kathy that's here, the Bosnia needs it.
Did they opt out then?
Yeah.
I got the buyout.
Yeah.
So. Okay,
If there's, is there any other business?
What's that?
I was just gonna ask if the public had any questions. There's no public here.
Well, press.
Russ, do you have any questions?
Not this time,
Okay,
maybe another time.
I learned that from Donnell. Do you have something else you want to bring up?
I was gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Please do.
Second it.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Oh, this is the shortest